You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
And now, it's time for the show that breaks down the options market from unusual activity alerts to market analysis, strategy overviews, listener questions, and much more. If it involves puts and calls, then our all-star panel will break it down. It's time to hit the Option Block with your host, Mark Longo from the Options Insider Media Group, and co-hosts, Uncle Mike Tosaw from St. Charles Wealth Management, along with Andrew the Rock Lobster Giovinazzi from OptionFit.com. Old trading walks into a bar. New trading raises it. That's Tasty Trade. Keep focused with news feeds that matter. See opportunity differently in analysis mode. Chart your heart out with over 300 indicators. Plus, you can get low pricing, lots of education, and a support team that really gets how traders trade. It's no wonder Investopedia named Tasty Trade the best broker for options in 2024. Genius loves company. Go to tastytrade.com/podcasts and see for yourself. Tasty Trade Incorporated is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA, NFA, and SIPC. And now, get ready to hit the Option Block.
All right, everybody, that music means we are back. Time to rock out once again on the old OB. Kick off your broadcast week. Hope you had a good weekend. Yet another wild one. If you're not ready for a little weekend action these days, then maybe you should go flat, because we certainly have an abundance of it these days. My name, of course, Mark Longo from the Options Insider Radio Network, your home now for 19 plus years of options podcast goodness. And of course, if you want even more goodness in your life, perhaps you're hankering for a little vol deathmatch action, maybe just like asking questions, some of the best minds in the world of options and derivatives. Maybe you just enjoy unusual activity. Maybe you enjoy all of the above. TheOptionsInsider.com/pro is the place to go. Get your name in the hat. You got about a week left to register to get your name in the hat for the February Pro Trading Crate. Before that heads out the door, as we go around the horn, see who's joining us on this fine, fettered Monday. First, to the shores of Maine we go, where we are joined once again by the rockingest of lobsters, Mr. Andrew Giovinazzi. And then we go out to the hinterlands of Chi-Town, where we are joined by the uncleest of Mikes, Mr. Uncle Mike Tosaw. I introduce them both now because they are busy getting ready to bravely venture once again into the battle arena known as the 80s Trivia Challenge. Here we go. All right. Didn't get a chance to do an audience poll before the show, so I am going to select what color we're going for today. I chose the color before I looked at the question. And the question is pretty easy, so get your hands on the buzzer. I'm going to go science. I'm going to go green this time because we never do science. Let's mix it up here a little bit. And this is a surprisingly easy science question. What grows in a paddy field?
Rice.
Oh, Andrew already had the buzz ready.
Rice.
Already had the buzz ready. Rice. I mean, come on. What kind of science question is that? 80s Trivial Pursuit.
Did I just jump into the lead on that one?
You might have. I don't know. I'll have to see. I don't have the total in front of me.
I know Tosaw actually came up with a couple of good ones, like the Globetrotters, I think, one.
Andrew.
That last year.
For rice grows in a paddy. I don't know. What are we doing, 80s Trivial Pursuit? That was a bit of a gimme. Hopefully you all got that one at home, listeners. As we
had a chance to figure out what grows in rice paddies.
I gave you a hint. I said, have your finger on the buzzer fast. Hint.
Andrew beat me fair and square.
Just buzz in. Don't even wait for that one. But yeah, that was surprisingly, some might say shockingly easy. As we keep on rolling right on into the trading block.
It's time to break down the latest topics, trades, and trends in the world of options. It's time for the Trading Block.
All right, everybody. It's the Trading Block, the portion of the show where we break down what the heck is trading out there. You know, we ended Volview saying it felt like a weekend that had some potential weekend risk attached to it. I don't think anyone had raids and cartel violence spreading across Mexico in their bingo card. Most eyes, I think, were squarely focused on the Middle East, but instead we got Mexico. So all sorts of wild stuff. Weekend risk popping off, just perhaps not in the locale that we all expected. Nonetheless, we were feeling it a little bit on the street today. Coming into the start of the show, we are seeing the S&P off about 1%. Nasdaq off about 1.05%, and the Dow off about 1.5%. And our old pal, the VIX Cash, hanging out right around 21.5 as we kicked off the show. Puts it up about 0.75 of a point from where it was this time last week. VVIX at a 114, which was literally unched and is just a tick under 115. In fact, it's ticking up now. Let's just say it's 114.95 pretty much. So let's just say it's 115, which is pretty much up 1 point from where we were on the Thursday show. But a lot going on, a lot of surprising stuff. We still have earnings popping off this week. In fact, that is the subject of our question of the week right now. I'll get over there to Add Options on Twitter. Tell us how you like to approach earnings season with your options trading. You like to buy juice, you like to sell juice, you like to stay the heck away. Hit us up. Let us know. Add Options is the place to do so. As we go around the horn, see what's catching their eye. Let's go to our victor for the week on the trivia challenge, the dare I say it, a remedial trivial challenge. Mr. Rock Lobster, congratulations for your deep knowledge of rice. If you have any thoughts you want to share on rice, by all means have at it. And then B, what's catching your eye in another surprise weekend and surprise start to the trading week?
I like rice. Qualified to grow where it's wet. And that's about all I have on rice. What I don't like is brown rice sushi. It's an abomination. So I'm going to say that. Rice should be white and brown. I don't like weirdest tasting stuff.
Is there a big sushi scene on the shores of Maine?
Actually, I wouldn't call it a big scene. However, the fish we get is very good. So there are very nice sushi restaurants, and they do serve the delectable delights that come from the coast of Maine. Quite good. But yes, I am just brown rice sushi.
So it's just all lobster sushi all the time?
All lobster sushi all the time. A lot of fish. We actually have a diverse selection of. It's not just lobster all the time. So anyway, that's my big rice take for you. As far as the market goes, interesting. I would say we have like a 22 VIX, but we don't really. What are we? Like we're 20 SPY points from all-time high, maybe. Like what was it, 695, and we're not even. We're 10. So we have a 21 VIX and an SP. Where are we? SPX, yeah, is SPX only like 100? Like it's 150 points. So what is that? 2% from all-time highs. So I would say, yeah, it is a bit of an odd market, and I think the reason is it's AI is, instead of it being the savior, it has now become the millstone around the Mag 7 neck. And a lot of software companies are getting revalued in real time. Also today, look at the payment processors: Visa, MasterCard, American Express. PayPal got so cheap, I think it rallied on somebody might buy it out. That stock is down like 90% from all-time highs. So because I guess what stable coins are trying to replace payment processing. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but again, it's more of a technology utilizing how good the lobbyists do. But Goldman, JPM down a bunch too. Anyway, that's the and I think this market is in a serious turn. And of course, we have Congress that can't pass anything that anybody wants, can't stop spending money. And it would be nice if they could do something. But so far, I have not seen any evidence that our congressional representatives actually want to help the American people. I think they're doing a great job of helping themselves. And we need a little fiscal restraint now. We're not getting it. So I think those are, and then of course, send ships to the Persian Gulf, and then Mexico takes out the narco kingpin. So a little bit of bait and switch there, which is interesting that happened because like we were kind of having this row with Mexico over drug cartels and stuff. So, no. I don't know if anybody's going to complain about the drug kingpin going down, but that's what we got. So it is again, volatility is giving you a story, and the story is we don't know what's going on. I think we actually, we even backwardated VIX. Front end cash index is higher than the futures for a while this morning. That's pulled back. Yeah, and it's still slightly backward, but the curve has drifted a little lower again, because we were trading almost 22, I think. So I would just say this: the market just doesn't know what's going on here. I think there is a lot of valuations are getting cut on a lot of companies, and Microsoft. About it, it was $500 in December. Now, traded even Microsoft, who is a cloud stalwart and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, in November, traded 553. Now is trading. So that could be down a solid $200 from. So all I would say is there's considerable churn in the market. There is some there's opportunity, but I would not touch the software sector quite yet. It's kind of ugly to me.
Our chat is saying quite a few of them like to do Mr. Russell's secret weekend UVIX trade, and a lot of them say they're still riding it right now because it's looking all right. Yes, we've been toying with the idea of maybe you let it go a little bit during the week, and so far at least that seems to be an interesting way to go on that. I will say I do have a little UVIX in my back pocket right now, and I have not let mine fly. I have let it ride since the weekend. It's an interesting time out there in these wild markets. Mr. Uncle Mike, we turn to you now, sir. What is catching your eye in a wild start to the week? And also, if you have any deep, biting thoughts on the subject of rice, have at it.
I actually like some good dirty brown rice, but
You'll take the other side of Rock Lobster. He wants nothing to do with brown rice.
He's a white ricer. That's something. But no, I tip my cap to the Rock Lobster. He won. He is the victor today. So to the victor go the spoils. He is the winner. With that being said, S&P. It seems like whenever we do a show, the S&P wants to go exactly to where it started the year at 68.45. That seems to be the magnet number, if you will, for where we are. So I guess I need to get my cabal working a little bit and finally get this market moving. I don't know if they realize they need to buy this market in 2026. It's just kind of sitting there for right now. But it has been going up. It has been going down. This is kind of what you call an exciting road to nowhere, if you will. In that, if you would have just gone to cash on December 31st, you could buy in today at the same levels as you did on December 31st, pretty much. So we're about 2 months into the year, and that's kind of where we're at right now. The big thing that's catching my eye today from a sector standpoint is the financials. XLF, the financial sector ETF, is down over 3% on the day. I think it seems there's a lot of fear happening with the newer tariffs. So we went from the tariffs that were not allowed to now we have tariffs that are allowed because it's 10% globally on everything. So apparently the market doesn't like that, or at least not for today. Technology is down a little over 1% today. And then everything else, not everything else, but a lot of other things like consumer staples, consumer discretionaries, not consumer discretionaries, healthcare. We actually have some things that are up in the day for the market. So not everything is down. It just kind of, when you have a sector that's as big as technology and financials going down, it kind of leads the market down. IWM small caps down 1.7, mid caps are down 1.8. So there's definitely sellers out there today. But there are some individual names that are doing well. We have Apple, that's up over $4 on the day. We have AbbVie, that's up $3.80 on the day. So we do have some names that are higher. Big Blue is getting its big blue butt kicked today, down 4% in IBM. JP Morgan's the big one that it kind of worked out well for us. Some of our covered calls worked out well this weekend. Some of them did not. JP Morgan closed right around the 310 level, and a vast majority of our stock got called away at 310. And we're getting ready to get back into it today. And it's kind of fun when that happens. It didn't happen that way with all the stocks over the weekend by any means, but it's always fun when you get called away right at your short strike price, which for us was 310. And then all of a sudden, the next Monday, it gaps down quite a bit. So that's a fun one for us right now.
That's a textbook covered call, sir. Nicely done.
Yeah, didn't work out that way on all the calls, unfortunately. But I'll take the winners when I can get them.
Take the ones you can get, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way every time, listeners, just so you know. But it is fun when that happens. So I think that just ultimately the market needs to decide which way it's going to go. We got the state of, not to take too much away of our thunder from around the block, but the State of the Union's coming up tomorrow night. And a lot of people think that's going to be kind of a precursor to the message that the Republicans are going to say for the midterms, but more insight into tariffs. And I will definitely be watching the futures markets, or I'll be sneaking a peek at the futures markets on Tuesday night at some point. That is for sure. Silver, it's up 2% on the day. It's 78, or at least SLV is. Gold's up roughly 2% on the day. I remember there was a time when that was exciting, but let's face it, with the movement that gold and silver have had lately, that's actually kind of a boring move. Treasuries are up a little bit on the day with IEF, the 7 to 10 year Treasury ETF, up 0.4%. TLT, the 20 plus year Treasury, up 0.5% on the day. So markets do seem to be getting a little bit more normal, if you will, in that stocks are down. There is a rush to safety in the government treasuries. That's what I'm seeing, Mr. Mark.
All right, let's see what we're seeing out here in the rest of the market, shall we, listeners? Like we said, it's a red day. That usually leads to a little bit of action out there in the world of options. Is there some action right now in the world of VIX options? It's decent, but it's not quite as explosive, perhaps, as you might assume, given the red we're seeing on the screen. 345,000 contracts. That's a lot. If we're back at the old ADV of around 700K, that's obviously right around halfway to that ADV. But we're back north of 900K. We were at exactly 1 million contracts on Friday. 1.0 million contracts was the ADV for VIX on VolViews. Coming in today is down about almost 70,000 contracts to 933,000. Still a lot. So we'll keep an eye on that, see what's lighting up the tape. By the way, if you're wondering what's lighting up the tape out there today, it's an interesting strike, perhaps not one you would have on the bingo card. It's the May 24s, lighting it up 21,000 times today for $2.76. Looks like paper might have been blasting away at these. I'll have to look and see to make sure they went up all on the bid 100%. I'll have to go see what kind of market they got out there for these. But interesting stuff out there. Maybe we'll put a little flash poll out there and see what you folks have to say about May 24s. But that is your big dog, such as it is out there in VIX land. Let's do a quick top 5 while we're at it. Number 2, about 15,000 of the March 30s. So some interesting strike selection already. Number 3, 13,000 of our old pal, the March 17 put. If you're wondering, those are going for 31 cents if you want a little nibble to the dark side. Number 4, 12,000 of the March 35s. And number 5, 11,000 of the March 18 puts. If you want a little bit juicier nibble, these are going up for about 65, 66 cents this morning. I think they were trading for, I think it was around 72 cents when we did our poll, maybe 76 cents last week. So either way, you're getting a deal on those if you're down for a little bit of dark side and you want perhaps a meatier strike than the 15s or the 16s. Out to SPY we go. Is SPY looking juicy? The answer is yes. SPY is lighting up the tape out there today, listeners. 7.3, almost 7.5 million contracts on the tape already. So SPY really hot out of the gate out there today. And, it's a little bit of red clearly driving some 0-day action. If you're wondering, the hot dog out there in SPY right now, nearly 300,000 of the 685s have changed hands. Average price for those right around 80 cents. And 287,000 for number 2 of the 680 puts. So again, talking already almost 600,000 contracts just in 2 0-day strikes. Just absolutely wild how much flow is going up in the 0-day space. Again, almost 7.5 million contracts. Again, 3/4 of the way to the 10 million exactly ADV right now out there in SPY land, listeners. So a hot day in SPY. Is it a hot day in the S? The answer is yes. 3 million contracts already. So the S, again, both the S and SPY really feeling it out there today, which is, again, a kind of interesting. The ADV is 4.6 million. So unless we kind of fall out of bed in both of these products in the second half of the session, we should be really hitting that ADV pretty easily today. The hot option, if you're wondering, it's that similar level that we saw in SPY. Well, in SPY, it was, I take it back. It was the 685 calls for number 1, followed by the 680 puts for number 2. In the S, it's the 6,800 puts all day, all the time. Number 1, 66,000 of those bad boys having traded already, followed by number 2, 6,830 puts, 51,000 of those. And number 3, 50,000 of the 6,820 puts. So again, it's a dark side put palooza, pick your strike. But the 6,800 puts out there lighting up the tape. Look, I don't think, let's see, how low did we get? Right around 68.25 in the cash, 68.20. So 6,800, that seems like a bit of a ways to go, but we shall see. The second half of the session is upon us. We'll see if we can get there or if we just rally ho all day. If you're wondering, by the way, what was a 6,800 put going for? The average price was nearly $4. They were not giving these away today, listeners. They traded nearly 70,000 these for an average price of about $4. Let's hope they were selling the heck out of those. As we keep on going out to small caps, IWM, are they lighting up today? The answer is yes. Small caps looking pretty much where we have seen them a lot this time of the show these days, which is right around 1.25 million contracts. I just reacted, though. They put up a little bit more because they are at 1.37 million. By the way, if you're wondering, small caps really taking it on the chin today, off 1.7% on the day out there. So small caps feeling it out there today, listeners. And again, 1.37 million contracts today. And the ADV is just a tick under 2, 1.97 million. So 600,000 contracts. Can they put that up in the second half of the day? I think the answer is probably yes, but we shall see. Maybe the second half of the day will be a snoozer, listeners. Small caps, or I should say the Qs. The Qs are not snoozing. The Qs are up to 4 million contracts already. My goodness. We are feeling it out there today. The ADV, 5.8 million. You know what? Since we ran this for the S, let's run it for the Qs really quickly, too. Let's just see what is the hot option in the Qs right now. It's been a lot of psychologically important levels. We're hanging out in the Qs right around the par of the 600 level. I got a feeling it's probably going to be something around there, and that is the case. It is the par puts. They have traded 230,000 times, so almost 250,000 of them. Average price right around $1.16. Those are still very much in play right now, listeners, so we'll keep an eye on that, as opposed to those SPX puts that might be a little bit in the rearview mirror, but we shall see. the session still has a lot to go. As we keep on rolling out to the top 10, is it a banger day in top 10 land? The answer is no. We've seen this quite a bit lately where things get a little macro focused. Everyone's fixated on slinging those 6,800s in the S&P. They ain't got time for single name options, listeners. Only 287,000 contracts. That's all it cost you to break into the top 10. That's almost half of what we saw recently on a very active day to break into the top 10. So kind of sleepy out here today. We usually use that level of around 350 to be at least respectable. We're not even there today. At least we're north of 250. That gets us to our old pal Netflix. We used to call this one the Widowmaker. I don't really know what to call it anymore out there, listeners. It's just it's a wild name. It's up again. It's down again. The deal's on. The deal's off. There's more analysis to be done. Either way, Netflix, number 10, 287,000 contracts. They're selling off again today. Another $2.50 or 3.14%. They were just threatening the par strike not too long ago. 76.20 is where they're hanging out right now. They're off 16.5% so far year to date. They hit the par strike. Well, they were well north of the par strike back in June. They were 134. But as recently as October, they were 124, 125. So they've fallen 50 handles from that level. So yeah, it's been a rough run for Netflix. I guess if you've been riding it down, then perhaps it is still the Widowmaker for you. Either way, number 9, the Rock Lobster was just talking about this one. This is PayPal. We don't talk about this name too often, but getting a little bit of action out there today. Takeover interest, folks swirling around PayPal, popping 282 or 6.75%. Trading right now, $44.50 again today. So, Mr. Rock Lobster, you want to chime in on a little bit of Netflix, sir? Have at it.
Well, I just want an observation about no company has ever survived a buyout with Warner Bros. So I've been doing this since 1989. 1987, Time Life merged with Warner Brothers. And since then, it has traded hands 3 or 4 times. And no company, after buying that company, ever seen that stock price high again. Because remember, there was a CNN, remember Turner Broadcasting? You remember the TBS? Right? They merged. AOL ended up trying to buy that whole thing.
Yeah, they killed all the money AOL had from putting those discs in your shopping cart back in the day and in your magazines.
Back in the day. It got sold, and then AT&T tried to take it out of everybody's misery. Then Discovery bought it. Like, it has been talk about a Widowmaker. It is the Widowmaker's Widowmaker. So, and now Netflix wants to spend $100 billion. They want to pay cash right in the teeth of AI and all kinds of alternative content creation. I have to say, I mean, I know the guy that is very smart. Actually, he graduated from college in Bowdoin College, which is my next. What's his name? Reed Hoffman. Maybe. But anyway, no company has ever done well purchasing. None.
Yeah, the Warner Bros. Discovery, that one didn't really light the world on fire. How many size collars were we talking about on that one on options?
Hey, you remember that? It was crazy trade, right?
Really tight, and they were almost immediately after the deal was done, people were collaring the hell out of that one. So yeah, not exactly a great revenue generation engine, a revenue destruction and a value destruction engine, that is for sure. Value generation, not so much. So yeah, have you been trading this trade lately, listeners? Have you been just watching Netflix circle the drain out here? Otherwise, number 10, number 9, PayPal. Maybe this one getting a shot in the arm again. $44.50. I have a feeling our buddy Greg coming up on the crypto rundown will have more thoughts on perhaps that and the whole stable coin drama around it. He is a big Circle fan after all. As we keep on going to number 8, it's SoFi. $18.12 off 83 cents, or about 4.5%. Year to date, they are off 33.75. This name just kissed 30 this year. In January 5th, start of the year, they were right around $30. And last year they actually broke through it, I believe, at 32 and a quarter in November. And, sure enough, as soon as they hit 30, they announced, we're selling the hell out of a lot of our stock. That usually tends to put a ceiling on your stock in the near term. But getting cut in half, that's quite an aggressive run. So things not exactly looking bueno out here for SoFi. Number 8, 315. So I guess the moral of the story, if you liked it at 30, you got to love it at $18.18. Number 8, SoFi today, listeners. Wild stuff here. Number 7, Alphabet. They're always in there these days. 314.09, off about 90 cents or 0.25%. Good for number 7, 339 on the countdown today. Number 6, Palantir, Uncle Mike's Uber favorite. Maybe he has some covered calls he wrote in this one. 130 and a quarter. If that's the case, then they're probably going to expire worthless. Selling off another $5. Actually, take it back. Just broke the 130 handle. 129.86 off $5.38 or 4% today. Year to date, it is off 22.6%. So kind of been a wild ride in Palantir. It was north of 180 to start the year. So wild stuff out there. Number 6, Palantir, all the way down at number 6, 371,000. Then we jump up a bit, a little bit more respectable numbers for Amazon. Amazon selling off today as well, off 5 3/4 or 2 3/4%. 204 1/3 is where it's hanging out right now, putting up 658,000 contracts for the number 5 spot. Number 4, it's Softy. The Rock Lobster was just talking about this one. It has been I believe he likes to say, a tale of sadness and woe in all things Microsoft. Certainly this year, it's off another $10.50 today, or 2.6%, trading 386.75. Apparently, they just cleaned house in their gaming division over the weekend as well. Just fired the guy who's been running it forever, and his assistant is number 2. So put in a new woman who I believe has more of an AI background. So we'll see how that fares. But a big shakeups going on in Softy land. That's what happens when your stock drops from threatening the par strike in the other direction, the 500 strike, to 386 3/4 today. Wild stuff. Year to date, they're down 18.25%, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing down anytime soon. Number 3, the fruit company. This one's been on a wild trajectory so far this year. They're up, they're down, sometimes in the same day. Today, they're up $4.11 or 1.5%. Trading 268 and change. It's ticked up again, 269.25 now, about 4.470 or 1 3/4%. A year to date, this puts them pretty much flat. They're off about 0.5% or about $1 on the year, but they've had a lot of ups and downs already so far just this year. The year is not even 2 months old. Apple, number 3, 750,000 contracts. So they're looking pretty spicy today. Number 2, it's Tesla, back below the par strike, 396.60 off 15.25 or 3.7%. Putting up nearly 2 million contracts already, about 1.9 million contracts. So spicy day for Tesla. That means the number 1, you know what it is. It's Nvidia, also right around 1.9 million contracts. Nvidia saying sell off. What sell off? Popping $1.30, trading 191.12, about 0.8% out there. Good for, again, the number 1 spot, right around 1.9 million contracts. If you want some earnings fun, we still got some for you out here. We got Domino's, a pizza today. We got Hims. I know our chat was talking about this. Hims is after the bell. Our chat was talking about this on Oddities on Friday. There's some juice in them thar hills and Hims. If you're down for a put right, a premium harvest, and you don't mind sweating a little bit going through the earnings, then maybe Hims is your huckleberry. Either way, it's certainly an interesting one. Tomorrow we got Home Depot and AMC. Wednesday we got TJX companies. I haven't talked about them in forever. Circle. We'll probably talk about that with Greg later today. They were threatening to hit his strike not too long ago. He sold those 45s in March a long time ago. Lowe's, Nvidia, some name I'm not that familiar with, Nvidia. Salesforce on Wednesday, and Snowflake. And Zoom, why not? Snowflake and Zoom on the same day. All you got to do is throw in Palantir. You got all the pandemic darlings. And then Thursday, we've got good old WBD, just talking about them, and CoreWeave, and Papa John's, and Intuit. If you want all the data for you, we got it for you because we like you folks out there. The Options Insider is the place to go. If you want to check out, let's say, Domino's, a pizza. What's the pizza vol right now? It was going into this report, hot off the presses this morning. Well, going into their announcement, they went with 384.61. They're pricing in 5.2%. They were right around 397 when we ran this report, which put them moving 3.2%. Let's see how they're doing right now. They are up 4.7%. So they're pretty close to in line, trading 402.5 right now. So pretty close to in line with their straddle. So apparently things are good on the Domino's a pizza front. Not as much pizza vol as perhaps you might have thought, or perhaps more pizza vol than you thought, depending on which way you were leaning on your Domino's a pizza trade. Let's see any other hot names popping off here today. Oh, we mentioned HIMS. Let's just break it down right now. I know there's a certain segment of our pro audience that is interested. They were at 1563 when we ran this report this morning. They're hanging out right now at 1552, so right about that same level. They were pricing in $2.19. In the past, they've moved to $1.86. So interesting stuff. A little bit more juice than we've seen, but of course, there's a lot going on in this name. There's this lawsuit over these weight loss drugs. A lot of wild stuff out there. It's going to be a wild announcement. Are you brave enough to step into the fray, listeners, or is that maybe a little bit too spooky for your blood? Home Depot popping off later this week as well, 24th before the bell. So tomorrow before the bell, 382.25 is where they were trading when we ran this report. They were pricing in $14.60. In the past, they've moved 9 3/4. That is a heck of a lot of extra juice for Home Depot, listeners. Interesting. Might merit some further investigation out there. Let's keep rolling. Let's go out to Circle, another hot one if you're in the crypto space, or even if you're not. It's definitely a hot one for a lot of you out there. They're popping off 25th before the bell. $63 exactly is where they were trading. So they actually have rallied. They were looking a lot worse before. They're down to about $60.75 right now, as they've sold off a bit since then. They're pricing in $5.50. In the past, they've moved 4 1/4. So extra juice. Kind of hard to say it isn't warranted given all the madness that's going on in the crypto space right now. And that's just scraping the surface, listener. There's a whole bunch of names here you can check out for yourself. Salesforce, maybe Nvidia, if you are so inclined. Tell you what, Nvidia's popping off 25th. We'll do Nvidia as well because we won't have a chance to get to them on the next show. They already have popped off. Nvidia, 189.82 when we ran this report this morning. They were pricing in $10.71. Get this, in the past, they've moved $14.12. So perhaps there's a bargain, a brewing out there in Nvidia. Perhaps it's scoopage time. Again, that one maybe merits a little bit more investigation as well. But you know what else we love to investigate here on the show? It's a little bit of weird paper. So let's get there now. It is time for the Odd Block.
It's time to break down the most interesting, unusual, and downright questionable options activity that's been identified by theoptionsinsider.com. It's time for the Odd Block.
All right, everybody, it's time to get weird, time to get wild. Before we get too wild, well, maybe we should get more wild because we're talking about HIMS. Mr. Rock Lobster, sounds like you've been lured to the dark side of HIMS, sir?
Yeah, I was. I bought a little. I've traded that stock in and out. Below 20, I buy more. I took a nibble if the earnings are okay. I know, like, what's funny is I think they got a problem with NVO, and now NVO got crushed too. Like everybody's just giving up on what is it, Wegovy or whatever the fat drug is. But yeah, I think I don't know. I don't think HIMS is going away, but I don't think it's $100 stock, but the stocks that get ahead of themselves. It's let's call it an interesting company.
An interesting one, to say the least. Let's see if we have something interesting for you today on the Odd Block. And the answer is, yeah, I think we do, listeners. Let's go out to Compass. This is the name we talked about in the past, and we'll get to that in a second. Compass, ticker symbol CUMP. You know them, large real estate brokerage name, listeners. Ticker symbol COMP, trading $9.18 off $1.11, or nearly 11%. So not a great day for them. An interesting year, though. This move now, it's been a pretty aggressive sell-off. Today's move puts them pretty much flat on the past calendar year now. They were 9.10 a year ago. They're 9.18 today. They did sell off back not in April, but actually in May to their low for the year, 566. And then they rallied hard. Second half of the year, they got all the way up. In fact, all the way into the beginning of this year, they were looking nice. They got up to nearly $14 on January 26th, $13. $1.96 was their high. And then since then, they have literally fallen out of bed. It's been just a series of red on the screen pretty much every session since January 26th, selling off all the way down to where we are right now, $9.18. So rough times. We had Kevin Green on TWIFO a week or two ago talking about some of the interesting warning signs he's seeing flashing in commercial real estate. Maybe that's spilling over into Compass as well. Before we get to what we talked about today, it's kind of interesting. Let's go back in time a little bit and see what we talked about recently with Compass. We first talked about them last year on May 22nd. The stock at the time was $5.91, so that was right in that nadir. That's pretty close to their 52-week low of $5.66. So if you scooped them there, sounds like it worked out pretty well, and that's exactly what happened. Somebody came in on the May 22nd show and said, July 6 calls, how are they? They were 40 cents at 70, said, I will pay 60 cents 13,000 times. Earnings were actually July 31st, so it wasn't even an earnings trade. It was just a straight up roll the bones on some upside or effectively at the money calls at the time. These worked out decently, not explosive, made a little bit of money. The stock ended up closing $6.68 on July expiration, so obviously 8 cents past what they paid for these things. These calls were all still open, so they were still riding them. So they made 8 cents on those bad boys, or about 104 grand. If they held the stock, though, then they're up, as of right now, about 3.6 million, even though they were up a lot more as of January 26th. But still, interesting stuff. And then we kept talking about Compass. It came back on our radar. On October 27th, they popped up again, and it sounds like eerily similar paper. Someone's got a bit of a pattern out here in Compass. Somebody came back again on October 27th. Again, they did about 13,000 of those July calls, made a little bit of money, came back in October, said no nines this time. How are they? The stock at the time was $7.96, so it had rallied a little bit. They said no nines, how are they? They got a dime at 40, so an atrocious market. Didn't scare them, though. They said, I'll pay 40 cents, good sir. 6,250 times, and then another 5,000, and so on and so forth. Did a total of 16,000 on the day, listeners. So again, a wild one. This time they worked out pretty well. The stock closed at almost $10, $9.97 on expiration. Looks like they came back and bailed on half of them on expiration day, which is kind of interesting, for 50 cents. So obviously they got a nice move on expiration day because the stock ended up closing nearly $10. They got another $0.50 on the other half, the second half of the day. So a wild expiration day, it sounds like. They rode the rest into the close, made about 400 grand there. So you're talking about $500,000 on that trade. All that rotating around to today. Compass is back on our radar, Mr. Rock Lobster. They have earnings coming up, and looks like somebody is not exactly feeling the mojo for Compass out there, listeners. Earnings are after the bell on the 26th. Somebody came in this morning and said, March 9 puts, so going to the dark side this time. How are they? They got 80 cents at 90, so I will pay 88 cents, good sir. 5,602 times. Came back, paid more, paid 70 cents, 2,500 times. A total of, get this, 16,000 times. So sounds like our magic number is back. Maybe our friend is back in Compass, Mr. Rock Lobster. He's hit it pretty well so far on the call side. Sounds like this time he's not feeling so bueno. What are your thoughts, sir, on this wild ride in Compass?
Let's see here. Right. It's one of these, like, I feel like Compass is like H&R Block, but you know, I don't know if people are going to give up. Are they going to give up real estate agents when they buy a house? I don't know. Kind of like financial advisors. I think people like that person. That's the, but anyway, right now we're trading. Yeah, I mean, these are the Nove calls, right? The Nove 25 nines. I want to make sure I'm seeing. This is like, oh, they. Am I missing? Sorry, am I missing something with these?
They're buying puts. They're buying puts today. In the past, they bought a lot of calls for the exact same size, and they've done pretty well.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. No, sorry about that. Got roll. Huh. Do you really think it's the same guy buying puts in these?
It's just eerily similar paper. How often do you see 16,000 blocks going up?
I guess so. In the same name. Well, maybe they know what's going on, but it does look like they're buying them, but they're not grabbing a lot of duration. Maybe I guess they're just saying, hey, earnings might not look good. There's a little precursor. Maybe they're front running news. They know that what's coming out.
They've been decently well timed in the past, not explosive, but decent. And if it is this, sometimes if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it can be a duck. Listeners, could be the same person. They still ride in their underlying that they got from their calls that they didn't really sell, and maybe now they're deciding to hedge that underlying. Maybe could have argued maybe a better timing would have been back in mid-January, but hey, maybe this is their pain point. In which case, maybe that's the time to get in. Either way, interesting stuff afoot here in Compass, and it has been quite the saga for us over the past year. But you know what's always a saga on Monday, listeners? It's the strategy block. So let's get to it.
It's time to dispense options, wit, wisdom, and education. It's time for the Strategy Block.
All right, everybody, you've been waiting on pins and needles for this moment to come. It is finally here. Mr. Uncle Mike, sir, what is your strategy block today? A little birdie told me it's all about him, sir.
Not exactly. It's all about the option block. The S&P's up 11 points on the option block rally. So if you need the market to go up, just tune into the Options Insider Radio Network, and that makes the market go up. I'm convinced that's exactly why it went up. Wouldn't you agree, Mark?
What other possible force could equal us, sir?
I don't know. But what I do want to talk about is I had mentioned in the beginning of the show on my trade with JP Morgan in terms of it kind of got lucky on that one in that we got called away at 310 over the weekend. It gaps down to 296 and we're still like the stock, but now we basically got roughly 4.5% of a gift from the market. Now, does that happen all the time? Good gosh, no. Not even close. Oftentimes it goes the opposite way in the real world. But what I do want to talk to our listeners about is just the importance of not being a perfectionist trader. So in other words, let's say that you are at a point to where you want to get out of a trade. Maybe you sold an option for $1. You want to get out of it maybe at 20 cents. And you see the market trading at the option you can get out of it at maybe 21 cents or 22 cents. In my opinion, I think it's okay to break rules if it's for something safer. Now, you don't want to make a habit of doing that too frequently or too great of an amount. But I think that there are times to where if you do actually can get out for a penny less than what you want to get into it at or whatever the case may be, if you're taking risk off the table, it's okay. Now, on the flip side, let's say if you're buying a stock and you want to buy the stock at $53.18 and you're waiting for it to go down, should you raise your limit to get into a trade? I say no, because of the fact that you're taking on more risk than you originally wanted to. And where this goes is that the other example of the importance of not being a perfectionist is that there's stocks this month that we sold calls on last month that the stocks are lower in value, and we will be selling lower strike prices. And if the stock goes higher, we may get called away at a lower strike price. Now, in some cases, what we might do with that, if we're still really bullish on the stock, we might sell a call spread against it. But there are going to be times in real world trading to where you're going to have to, if we still like a stock, we will sell a covered call at a lower level at times. And the reason for that is that we're looking at the big picture. Yes, we know there's going to be wash sale consequences. Yes, we're aware that we may be forcing ourselves to buy high and sell low, and we're going to get burned doing that sometimes. But we have to make every month a separate month with how we look at covered calls. We can't say, oh, well, we're down on this one by this amount. We just got to let it sit there. No, we don't do that. We might if we're bullish enough on the stock to let it sit there because it's gone down in value, but we need to view every month as a separate trading opportunity. And that's how we do it. We're not perfectionists. There will be wash sales at times, but overall, in the end, if you make more money than you lose, and if you can beat your index, who cares? And that is the strategy block for today.
And every once in a while, you get a covered call that works out textbook. And you live to trade another day as we live to go around the block.
It's time to tell you what we'll be watching on our trading screens until the next episode. It's time for Around the Block.
All right, everybody, welcome to Around the Block. And in spite of Uncle Mike's words of optimism, we're hanging out pretty close to where we were to start the show. S&P off almost 0.1%. The Dow off about 1.4%. The Nasdaq off over 1%, about 1.06%. VIX cash coming back to earth a little bit. We were at around 21.5 to kick off the show, so right around 20.75. So that puts it pretty much exactly unched from where it was on the Thursday show now. So I guess if you're looking for a little bit of VIX to let up, perhaps that is in your wheelhouse. Right now, speaking of VIX, 100% of you want to sell those May 24s for $2.76. Not a single person wants to buy them or trade them anyway in a spread. 100% of you are saying sold to you straight up all the way out to May. That's a lot of time in VIX land to be selling, but you get nearly $3 for it. So clearly a lot of you are content. Speaking of your vol approach, we're asking right now, how do you approach earnings season with your options trading? 25% of you say you sell premium, and so far no one says you buy premium. No premium buyers at all going into earnings. And 75% of you right now in the early voting, this has only been live less than an hour, listeners, say you avoid earnings altogether. Fascinating stuff. Mr. Rock Lobster, sir, a lot to watch this week. State of the Union. Who knows? Maybe we'll cause a kerfuffle, a dust up in another country, as well as earnings. What are you keeping an eye on, sir?
Well, yeah, I think the State of the Union could be something. I figured today after that gold medal winning hockey game that we would be flying. You know, remember like the '80s hockey that started a raucous decade for us way back when I was a whippersnapper.
If anything's going to get Canada to roll tanks on us, it's us beating them in hockey, sir.
I was about to say, I think that's the only way to get a Canadian.
You better watch out. You're way closer to the Canadian border than the rest of us.
I know. I'll be overrun immediately. People throwing, I was trying to think of a Canadian beer, and it was Molson. How could I forget? Green bottles. Anyway, yeah, they're gonna beat me, pound me with Molson bottles. And don't we have Nvidia? I believe. And I'm very curious if it's the no, we got a ways to
go. Yeah, Nvidia is this week.
Yeah, this week. I'm not gonna call it the top, but maybe a short-term top in the AI cycle, and maybe AI stocks come down to earth again. I think Nvidia will have great earnings because its revenue will probably be up 50% again. CapEx is, but everybody expects that already. I mean, Nvidia has revenue basically has to go up 50%. Because it's got 200 billion. After this year, it'll probably be 300 billion of revenue with a almost $5 trillion market cap. It's like, I get it. Great company, great products, leading the AI revolution. Man, is it one expensive. I feel like that will kind of cap on. I could be wrong.
Mr. Uncle Mike, same question for you, sir. What are you keeping an eye on for the rest of the week?
I mean, the State of the Union, I think, is going to be the big thing, honestly. Tariffs are still very much in play. They are a thing. They moved the market on Friday. I think they're moving the market today also. So in addition to just everything that we've talked about, I am watching the State of the Union.
Strap in. They tend to go long these days. But the show can't go long. This music means we are out of time, listeners. But before we go around the horn, let's see what each of us has to offer that may interest you. Maybe you want to get in on some of Andrew's offerings before the Canadians come for him. If you are so intrigued, where should they go? What should they do, Mr. Rock Lobster?
Yes, 888-TRADE-01. If you want to learn about zero DTE, come to Option Pit right now. They just listed zero DTE options on Mag 7, and Mark and Leash it off to a hot start. So come by and take a look. OptionPit.com.
OptionPit.com, and maybe you start converting your money into loonies, Mr. Rock Lobster, to appease your new soon-to-be Canadian overlord, sir. All right, that will do it for us there, Mr. Uncle Mike, sir. Where should folks go, I should say, if they want to check out what you got cooking?
Well, if you're looking for a financial advisor who does covered calls and options and all sorts of fun stuff, check me out. Go to stcharleswealth.com. Also, tune into my YouTube channel. There is new content up there, and we will continue to update it because we love our listeners. stcharleswealth.com.
stcharleswealth.com is the place to go. And, of course, while you're going places online, make sure you check out our friends over there at tastytrade.com/podcast, the place to go to kick the tires and light the fires. You're going to like what you find over there, I think. And they also have some fun offers for UOB listeners. tastytrade.com/podcast. That's going to do it for us. Back again in a little bit to talk crypto with our buddy, Mr. Greg. I got a feeling he's going to have something to say about Circle and about MSTR and about all the other madness in the world of crypto. And spoiler alert, there's a lot of madness. So even if you're not a big crypto trader, you like a little bit of vol, you like a little bit of action in your trading, the crypto rundown's coming up later today. And of course, we wrap up our trading day with Thor Odinson, a.k.a. the Hot Options Report. You get it? It's the acronym. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Yet another reason why you should be subscribed to the network. Back again tomorrow. We're going across the pond to Europe. Should be a fun time as well as some fun pro goodness. Then we're back again on Wednesday with Options Bootcamp, as well as, of course, the Futures Rundown. And then we're back again on Thursday with the Flow Master, another episode of the Option Block. Stay safe out there, everybody.
Old trading walks into a bar. New trading raises it. That's Tasty Trade. Keep focused with news feeds that matter. See opportunity differently in analysis mode. Chart your heart out with over 300 indicators. Plus, you can get low pricing, lots of education, and a support team that really gets how traders trade. It's no wonder Investopedia named Tasty Trade the best broker for options in 2024. Genius loves company. Go to tastytrade.com/podcasts and see for yourself. Tasty Trade Incorporated is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA, NFA, and SIPC.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.